So let me get this straight. You played Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
The one that's got the monkey in it, right?
Sonic Forces.
Dude, there was a Joker Persona 5 skin in the game. You know I had to buy it.
Uh-huh, yeah, and Sonic Dash? Really, a damn mobile game?
You're missing the elephant in the room here, man. I played Sonic Colors as a kid. That's one of the good ones. I had a good childhood.
Overrated. Look, dude, you gotta play more Sonic games. It's sad, really. I mean, no one's gonna take you seriously if you keep this up.
Yeah, right. I have a complicated relationship with the Sonic series, as Tom has so eloquently put it. For what it's worth, I've played Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania in recent years, and I enjoyed both of them, but... No! Why? Why does he do that? Why does he not... Yeah, I'm not the most experienced here. But above all else, Sonic Colors was my childhood Sonic game. This is the game that defined Sonic the Hedgehog to me, both as a franchise and as a character. And yeah, it's pretty mid. It hurts going back to a game you're nostalgic for and realizing that the magic's gone. It doesn't live up to that image in your head. But this wasn't the only version of Sonic Colors I grew up with. I also had the DS version as a kid, and it kept me occupied on many long car rides. What do you mean, what DS version? Yeah, unfortunately, this version of the game gets kind of overlooked a lot of the time because I guess people default to assuming that the console version is going to be the better version. But it's not. These were the days where if you couldn't port the game to the less powerful consoles, you just made a completely different game because, come on, little Timmy's not gonna know the difference. Sonic Colors was no exception. The first in a trend, actually, as they went on to make handheld versions of Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Boom. So while Sonic Team were cooking Sonic Colors for the Wii in a Golden Corral kitchen, Dimps was Tony Stark in this shit.
In a cave!
And, you know, that's valid. There's no reason Sega shouldn't trust them when they made the fan-favorite games that are the Sonic Rush series. Now, I don't know what the fuck Pokemon was thinking when they handed BDSP off to Ilka. The fuck does Ilka do? Cook meth? Alright, well I think we've done enough beating around the bush, so let's finally jump into this game and see just what makes it so much better than its console counterpart. Jesus Christ, was this audio recorded by Winston Churchill? Let's go in order of least importance here and tackle the story first. The DS version only retains a few of the cutscenes from the Wii game, choosing to tell most of the story in what I can only describe as a visual novel. They Persona 3 portable this game. Never forget what they took from you. Which isn't a whole lot, to be honest. It's not like the story was super remarkable on the Wii or anything. Eggman kidnapped a bunch of planets and turned them into an amusement park. He's draining the aliens' life force to use as a power supply to take over the world. You beat Eggman and save the aliens, that's about it. Incredibly basic story, bloated with some pretty corny writing, even for a Sonic game.
Y'all want fries with that?
Like, it's fine, it's a Sonic game, I'm here for the gameplay. I'm not expecting some Boondocks level comedy here or anything.
But Woodcraft don't need no more colors.
So, yeah, I'm not really complaining about the DS game lacking the cutscenes. They say everything they need to say without dragging on, and then you jump right on into the next level. The cutscenes that are in the game... It's like when you're on a Discord call and that one friend who has shitty internet's trying to share his screen. Hey, wacko. So, I need you to do me a favor. Because you own Sonic Colors, right?
Yeah.
The Wii one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've never played it before, and I want to see what it looks like. So, I need you to share your screen.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I also don't remember the controls.
Well...
Ow.
I hate to say it, but this looks better than I expected it to. Alright, now let's talk about the gameplay. I have no idea how to segue this. Gameplay I sure hope it does. I'm like winking with my whole body. When I was playing this game, it almost felt like the Sonic equivalent of New Super Mario Bros. Reviving its 2D platforming roots that it was founded upon. Except Sonic fell down 50 flights of stairs before getting there, but he's here now. But that's not the point. This game is good. Let's talk about Sonic himself here. I've made 2 videos in a row about blue guys with spikes on their heads. I guess it's my new passion. The way he moves in this game is absolutely sublime. He's fast, as he should be. The homing attacks are extremely satisfying to pull off and make maneuvering through the levels a breeze. You can stop the ground from mid-air and pull off slides when you're on the ground. Okay, sliding kinda sucks. Like, it's cool in concept, it's super badass to slide underneath a tight space just in the nick of time. Except it's a side-scrolling game, so most of the time, you don't even see where you need to slide until it's too late. Small price to pay for salvation though, because overall, the Mr. Blue Man's movement is super fluid. It feels so natural. And of course, you can boost as well. You gotta love boosting through enemies and knocking them over like bowling pins, or using the boost to run across the water because it's a Sonic game. Being underwater is fucking abysmal. It's like getting a tooth pulled. But overall, Sonic's array of skill sets here just all come together to create a super fast-paced experience. Your dopamine receptors are going off the charts as you boost through the level, bounce off springs and enemies, and kill bosses. Bosses that are actually really fun. They're not super hard or anything. Like, once you understand how they work, you could genuinely kick their ass in less than 30 seconds, but I don't even care because it's so fun. Building up your boost bar and just hammering away at their weak spot, and then you get the epic slowdown as you defeat the boss. I didn't know it was possible for a Sonic game to make me feel like the goddamn Doomslayer. Now, the way I'm going caveman mode over all this probably makes it pretty clear that I've never played Sonic Rush before, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's Sonic Rush 3, because I don't know that. I've never played it. So I'm leaving it to my buddy Stone Scone to educate you guys on the differences between the Sonic Rush games and Sonic Colors.
What is the core of Sonic? To be fast. Sega has experimented with the Hedgehog to hell and back, producing a vast lineage of titles that execute a vision. Whether it's a vision realized to its fullest potential, these games, these experiences, these works of art all have their fans. But with Sonic Rush, I'm much more than that. See, with Sonic Rush, that is my definition of the Sonic game. It's a never-ending sprint riddled with badniks that simply serve as meter fuel. Tricking brings an advanced risk versus reward element that is complemented by the most psychedelic funk a Sonic game has ever boasted. It has spunk, it has personality, and it even introduced Blaze the Cat, a warrior who would learn that you cannot take the world on by yourself. And all of this was neatly packaged into one of the greatest Sonic experiences to date. And I always thought that was it. Sonic Rush was good, Rush Adventure was overbearing, and Sega would never make a good Sonic game again. Sonic Colors! Holy shit. Sonic Colors is more than just Sonic Rush again, because it elevates upon what Rush sought out to do, and does it better. Removing tricks makes the boost meter so much more important, as now you can't blindly match through levels with infinite blue, because being honest, you can abuse the fuck out of that in Sonic Rush. Sonic's moveset from Rush to Colors doesn't only seem unchanged, it's actually improved. The only thing changed about his moveset are the addition of new moves that make it so much more fun to play as Sonic. And Colors takes its time too, letting the player experience the most interactive level design Sonic on the DS has to offer. I'm serious. After playing Colors, Sonic Rush just seemed like a gauntlet of bottomless pits that did just a half-assed job at pacing the levels well. Whereas Colors plays with the environment, it ramps up the energy, it never stops hitting you with new ideas. Every level is just another adventure, another possibility, another fucking showcase, and on top of that, the boss fights are now a scope unthinkable for a handheld. Colors is smooth, Colors is innovative, Colors is colorful, Colors is fast.
Alright, Stone Scone brought up the level design, and that's a really good point, because you gotta think. It doesn't matter how good Sonic's moveset is and how fun it is to control if the levels aren't good and the level design isn't based around that. Like, yeah, Michael Jordan is great at basketball. That doesn't mean he can play inside a damn Taco Bell. And of course, we gotta incorporate the Wisps into the conversation too, because I would go so far as to say that the levels are completely based around their very existence. So let's go level by level and discuss the level design, the Wisps, the music, and the atmosphere, and why all of the above are, for the most part, better than the Wii version. Yes, that's Wii footage, because if there's one thing I'll give that game, the levels are outstanding atmospherically speaking. I fuck with them. Give me like 2 minutes, I'll be back to shitting on the game, don't worry. Tropical Resort is just like the Sonic Colors vibe, if I'm being real. There's bright lights all over the place, and it just feels fun. This feels like the kind of place that could be an actual amusement park in the real world. Unlike Pinna Park from Mario Sunshine, which has like 3 fucking rides max. Like, that is... how are you still in business? And of course, bangin' soundtrack is bangin' soundtrack. Shit, this is what the DS version sounds like? The level is very fun and introduces us to the Boost Wisp, because Sonic is crippled without the power of aliens. Cool. It makes Sonic go fast. I don't know what you want me to say. Do I seriously need to explain the entire Boost era of Sonic to you? Really great tutorial level here. It's even got a little 3D section where we're on a hang glider, Harold and Kumar style. Come on, this is a 2.5D game, and they gotta flaunt the fact that this is actually a 3D model. Like, you ever played Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo and leave the game paused for too long? It's 3D! I should note, there's only 2 acts here before we get into the boss of the world, which is really nice. The levels feel like they're the perfect length, they don't drag on for too long. Plus, it's Sonic. Sonic levels have historically had 2 acts, it's just right. But if you desperately need more gameplay, that's where the missions come in. They're short little levels where you have an objective you have to complete within a time limit. Stuff like killing a certain amount of enemies, collecting so many rings, etc. They're honestly really challenging. A lot of these missions are straight up impossible to beat on your first try because they rely so much on trial and error. Like the ones where you have to save a certain amount of wisps. That's a fun word to say, wisp, wisp. Wisps. Pss, pss. You're not gonna know where all the wisps are the first go around, so you're just fucked. Retry, familiarize yourself with the layout of the level, maybe you'll win next time.
Boy, it's hard.
But it's not unfair. It's a great way to extend the playtime of the game because while these are optional missions, the gameplay is so fun that you actively want more. They also kind of have a story attached to them, but it's nothing crazy. It's just shoehorning in characters you know because Froggy! Alright, Sweet Canyon. It's okay. I've never been a big fan of the music here, but the concept of the level is pretty neat. It's like walking into Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph, who was also in Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. What? The entire level is made up of sweets, like you're just bouncing off of jello and shit, it's really goofy. And of course, the level introduces the Burst Wisp, which makes you explode. It's kind of fun to use. You get to kill all the enemies in your vicinity and propel yourself upwards through the level, and you can use these little barrels to boost through the level Donkey Kong style. But it's also kinda hard to control sometimes, especially if you accidentally explode these bomb balloons. That'll send you flying the complete opposite direction. Starlight Carnival is probably my least favorite level in the DS version, to be honest. I think it's way more visually appealing in the Wii version. You can see all the neon ships flying in the background, and that's really cool, whereas the DS version, I don't know, it's purple.
Purple guy!
Plus it has this stupid fucking whale. This is one of the only times in the game where you're just chilling, barely moving. You're just waiting for this whale to move forward. It's cool, it's a whale, Moby Dick and all that, but this is not one of the game's strengths, you know? Let's talk about the Wisp introduced here though. Meet the Rocket Wisp. When you activate this fellow, you turn into a domestic terrorist.
I am so excited, I think I'm gonna explode!
I like this guy a lot more in the DS version than the Wii version because it's way less aimless. You shoot him off and then it automatically course corrects to where you're supposed to be going. It's like a bullet bill in Mario Kart. In the Wii version, I had a few times where I just straight up wasted my Rocket Wisp because I used it somewhere I shouldn't have because, oh, there's gotta be a secret up there. There wasn't. Never before has a Sonic level been so beautiful. It's breathtaking. Seeing the natural world filled with greenery slowly being overtaken by the mechanical workings of Eggman, that's honestly just so real. It's exactly what we as humans have done to the environment, everything that Barrett Final Fantasy VII sought to prevent.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fucking fire.
Yeah, okay. So, Sonic Colors doesn't have a very good story. We've already discussed that, but something about this level is just beautiful. Seeing this luscious civilization of aliens being overtaken by human greed, it really makes you want to kick Baldy McNosehair's ass. The fuck is that?
Drill!
Yeah, this level's got a lot of fucking drill in the DS version. Like, a lot. This is the one case where I honestly think the Wii version did the level better. I hate to admit it because I absolutely hate the level design in that version. More on that in a bit. But the Wii version unfortunately does a better job at capturing that atmosphere I mentioned. The DS version just consists of so much drilling underground to get from place to place, and don't get me wrong, it's fun, it's chaotic, and it's way better than the Wii's Drill Wisp because it's so janky, it feels like a real drill. But this is a case where it feels like the level being centered around the Wisp got taken too far, and it prevents us from experiencing as much of this environment as we could. Even the area's boss is a drill. Like, come on, we get it, yes, the drill. I'm gonna drill your mom. Aquarium Park is fantastic in this version. The Asian aesthetic with the architecture is really cool and honestly kind of genius to mesh with a water level. By the way, yeah, it's a water level and it doesn't suck. And ironically, one reason it doesn't suck is the drill.
What?
I know, I just spent a solid minute complaining about it, but it works really well on this level because you use it when you're underwater to move through the level super quickly, and then you land back on the surface and just keep on moving. There's a really nice balance between surface and underwater action here, so even though you use the drill a lot, it doesn't feel like it takes up the entirety of the level. Plus, this is where the game introduces us to the Laser Wisp, which is essentially the same across both versions. You line up your shot and you blast off and zoom across the level. Okay, on to Asteroid Coaster. I honestly didn't remember caring much for this level as a kid. It was kind of just the last level, you know? But now, yeah, this looks like the inside of a monster can. I have newfound respect for it. You gotta make sure you don't fall in the acid. You gotta avoid the bone dinosaur heads that are coming to eat you. Hey, this is kind of like Undertale. You get to ride on these super awesome bone roller coasters. It's just so sick. To be quite honest, this is where the game got hard for me. I don't know why, I just struggled on Act 1 so much. But I think it has to do with the Wisp a little bit. This is the Void Wisp, which allows you to suck in all the things around you, causing you to slowly get bigger until you can consume basically everything in your path. It's really satisfying to use and makes you feel like a boss! But he's really floaty, so it took me a while to get used to his physics, I guess. I kept bouncing way too far when I didn't mean to and getting myself killed. So terminal velocity is, I don't like it. You're running downwards being chased by this purple robot thingy, but the background and your surroundings are moving the opposite direction and it's giving me serious motion sickness. I usually don't get that way from video games, but I'm about to puke all over my DS right now. Then we segue into the final boss, where Eggman is in his newest contraption, as always, and he uses the 5 Wisp powers we've used throughout the game against us. His attacks are pretty easy to dodge though, and we slowly regain our powers one by one, before we have an epic final showdown where we're enveloped in Wisp power, butt mashing our way through his laser beam, desperately holding on for our victory. God, it's just so cool. It's an easy final boss, but this sequence alone makes it worth it. Then compare it to the way the Wii version's boss ends. Alright, well, I really don't want to touch that right now, so I got a few more things to say about the DS game, if you'll stick with me. Let's talk about the special stages. If you get at least 50 rings in a level, then you'll be asked to play the special stage, where you have to go through 3 laps on this half pipe while collecting a certain amount of these colored bolts. You succeed and you get one of the Chaos Emeralds, which don't exist in the Wii version. In the Wii version, if you get all the red star rings, you get to play as Supersonic in all the levels. Okay, other Sonic games have done this too, and like, I guess it's cool, but it's not really much of an incentive for me to collect these things, you know? Ooh, now I get to replay the levels I've already played, except I kill everything now. Ooh. Also, stop looping this goddamn song! I'm tired of hearing it. It's the same opening loop of Reach for the Stars over and over and over again. Just play the entire damn song. There is no world in which I would want to play as Supersonic given these circumstances. Okay, I'm fine. I'm calm. I said I wouldn't talk about you yet. We're fine. I much prefer the DS version here because there's an actual sense of progression as we collect the emeralds individually. And as for the special stages themselves, they're really fun, honestly. They start out pretty easy, but once you get into that 3rd lap and the music starts getting faster and faster, it feels super stressful because if you fuck up, you're done. You gotta restart. Getting the first 6 Chaos Emeralds are pretty easy, but there's only 6 worlds. Where's the 7th Chaos Emerald?
Where's the last Chaos Emerald, bitch?
Alright, the last one's a little goofy because you have to go into the game's versus mode, which is kinda cool actually. You get to race through the game's levels against a CPU or a friend, even if they don't have the game, through the power of download play. God, I miss download play. It's basically the equivalent of Mario vs. Luigi in New Super Mario Bros., which has actually been turned into a PC game by iPod Touch 0218.
I'm coming.
It's really fun, go check it out. Anyways, point is, all you have to do is beat the CPU in a race, and then you get sent to Special Stage 7, where we get the last Chaos Emerald. But what exactly do you get for collecting all of these Chaos Emeralds? Meet the secret final boss of this game. The name that's on screen right now, that one, yes, that one. This is the mother of all wisps, and she's been turned evil, so it's our job to defeat her and save her from darkness. I vividly remember this boss giving me a really hard time as a kid. I spent so long trying to beat this thing to no avail. The other kids on the school bus were crowding around me to watch my intense struggle. I had to win. I had to earn their respect. I had to— Oh, she's dead. Well, that was easy. Why was that hard for me as a kid? You literally just turn into Supersonic, hit the meteors at her as they appear, then we transition into a 3D section and you hit her weak spot while avoiding the laser she shoots, and that's it. It's not hard at all. There's not even multiple phases or anything. You just do the same thing like 3 times and then bam, she's returned to her old self. Jellicent looking ass. Wait, I just beat the final boss. We're done. I could finally shit on the Wii version, yeah! Okay, first things first, level design, absolute trash. If I'm playing a 3D Sonic game, I'd preferably like it to be a 3D Sonic game. That makes sense, right? Well, I tell you what, if I had a nickel for every time the camera shifts 90 degrees from a 3D section to a 2D section, I mean, I could probably buy a cheesy gordita crunch from Taco Bell. Maybe 2. Okay, never mind, maybe not 2. They're $5.19? What the fuck? There are so many times where you're in a 3D section for like 20 seconds. 20 seconds where barely anything happens, by the way. You're just kind of running along in a field, whoop-de-doo. And then boom, camera shifts 90 degrees and we're in 2D mode now. Really? Okay, well, who's to say it's bad just because it's 2D? Obviously, I love the DS version, and that's 2D, so let's see here.
So here we have a Sonic game that doesn't prioritize fast movement at all. No, you can't have a refund.
It feels like I'm trudging through the game half the time. There's so many sections where you just have to jump from platform to platform, and I miss the platform half the time because Sonic moves too fast because he's supposed to be going fast, not doing this Mario bullshit. This feels like a Sonic game that wants to be a Mario game, but it's failing because that's not what Sonic is. Sega does what Nintendo don't, but I guess they forgot that at some point. The Wisps do not help, by the way. Some of them are good, like the Laser Wisp, or the Drill Wisp, or hell, even the Float Wisp. But the Pink Spike Wisp was not enjoyable for me. I find out you can spin dash with it, so I go to spin dash, and then it sends me way too far into places that I don't need to be. And the Frenzy Wisp is similar to the Void Wisp in that you destroy everything around you, which is cool in concept, but the more you eat, the slower you get. And don't even get me started on the Cube Wisp. It serves no purpose but to needlessly slow down the gameplay. You have to stop to transform these rings and the blocks, and then do it again to turn the blocks into rings, and then do it again to turn the rings into blocks.
Man, I've heard about being a square, but this is a bit much.
The worst part is, they're not even mandatory to use most of the time. If you skip past half of these wisps and just continue on as Sonic, you're probably gonna have a better experience and even beat the level faster. The boost is also way too limited. It runs out so quickly. I assume that the boost runs out so quickly because you don't need it for most of the level, because honestly, it would detriment you more than it helps when you're trying to do the platforming and stuff. But again, that's just not Sonic to me. I feel kind of like Aaron Hansen complaining about all the waiting in Ocarina of Time, but he's fucking Sonic. He doesn't wait for anybody. Also, there's 7 acts in every world, including the boss act. In what world, nay, universe, do you need 7 acts? The DS version was able to have such good level design because they focused all their energy on the 2 big levels per world. But the Wii version is just needlessly dragged out, and some of these levels barely even constitute a level. Like, I fucking blinked. Apparently, that's because Sonic Team made the conscious decision to cut some of the levels in half to artificially increase playtime, which, might I add, doesn't even work because I beat this game faster than I beat the DS version. It's just a shame because everything else about this game feels so cool. The soundtrack is great. Every level has an amazing atmosphere and genuinely looks breathtaking for a Wii game. The bosses are about as fun as the DS version. The QuickTime events, while pointless, I can't find it in me to hate that. And the cutscenes, as corny as they are, have a certain charm to them. I just don't get it. How could it be so bad? How is this possible? What about the memories? What about my childhood? Was it all just a lie? Let's have a little heart-to-heart here at the end of the video. And I want you to stick around for this, because it's hard to love something so much just for the feeling to not remain the same, or for things to change between you and this thing. And it could be many things, right? This can be a passion, it can be a hobby, it can be a person. And it's hard. Sometimes it's unavoidable, sometimes it's your own fault, but change happens, and we gotta keep going forward. And here's the part that really matters, that I want you to hear. just because things have changed, it doesn't suddenly invalidate the way that you felt in the past with this thing, right? Those feelings were real. The way you felt while doing this hobby or while being with this person or whatever it may be, it was real. You felt those emotions. And people are so quick to completely discard things and fill their heart with hatred the second things go wrong and they have to move on. And I don't think that's right. That's wrong, man. You can't do that. Because you gotta think, as long as you have the memories of those times, all those good memories, and hold them in your heart, they're not going anywhere. As long as you're alive, the way that you felt will always exist within you. And people say not to look to the past, but to look to the future. But sometimes you have to look to the past, because the past is what shapes us into who we are today. And sometimes it's as simple as Sonic. I really loved this game as a kid, man. It was a good game. Except it wasn't. But that's okay. I loved it as a kid, so it's always going to have a special place in my heart. That's all it comes down to, really. Oh, all right, cool. Actually, wait, this is perfect. This is perfect. I'm glad I did this because I get a way to do this. So my buddy Green Explosion has made a brand new original outro song for the Smash Max YouTube channel. So I get to introduce it to you right now.